Trying to get back on the clips now. It's been 2 months.
Yes. Get to take some summertime off.
It is kind of nice to take off.
Right?
It's a lot. You realize how much time it takes to like edit.
Oh, you're talking about the clips.
It's a lot to edit. Like, it's kind of nice now because I have so many episodes. I have 2 episodes that I haven't edited, so I can kind of work at it at my own pace, or like get into one of those zones where I just crush.
Good day to just grind a couple of out.
Yeah.
I wish the AI worked.
Kind of does. You can always just try it, but
just not well.
Not well enough.
Or maybe we just need to find a new one. Oh well.
Soon.
Oh well. So
we can also just Fiverr it, but
what do you think I made of money? A realtor in Toronto or something?
Oof.
I know. Not these days. You're right, Ro.
Yeah.
So, what are you up to? What did you do last week?
Pretty good week. 2 new listings. Lots of showings. I was on the road 6 times with different clients. Really, really busy.
It's almost like you just got back from vacation.
Kind of. I think it's more the market, though. Now is like the first time in a long time that a lot of different options are out there. Not just 1 or 2 that everybody's fighting over. It's like everything kind of works to an extent. Like there's a lot that kind of works.
The rents going the way the rents are going. A lot of stuff all of a sudden looks real good.
We were talking about this.
Prices don't change and rents are up. I don't even know how much, but
we were talking about this like way back when we were like, yeah, them increasing the interest rate like this is actually going to impact renters the most out of anybody. I mean, also homeowners who can't afford their property anymore and can't transition it. Now, more than ever, are gone are the days that like you're buying your first house and you're living in the full house. You're probably having to,
everybody I know that is buying for primary residence, that is buying like today for primary residence. And maybe it's a demographic thing. But to your point, the first house, right, fits well within my friend group demographic. Every single person is, can we get a basement apartment in here, right? Can we maybe even get 2 units in here and live in one? Every single one without fail. I think moving to a larger home that has no rental potential is like for the truly, truly wealthy at this point.
Yeah, it's for sure.
Bananas how expensive it is.
For sure. So everyone's being impacted, but it's bad for renters as well. Like they didn't get out of it. It's not like, oh, you don't own anything. Oh, you're fine. It's if you're trying to move somewhere now, it's like $300, $400, $500, $600 more than just a few months ago.
Yeah,
like that's it's not. We're not talking about years. Talk about the low during COVID. It's like literally 600 plus.
Or more. Like I think I had a Liberty Town area, like King West Town, Stack Town, like lower unit that we rented, I think 3 times throughout since the bottom of COVID, what I would call like the bottom of COVID. And I think that bottomed at 18-ish, 1,800 or so, and they're getting 26 as of they moved in September 1st. So just very recently they moved in. And I think even from when we got that lease closed to when that person moved in, that rent probably went up another $100.
Yeah.
It's a very aggressive pace right
One
now.
of the more extreme versions is a condo lease that I did during the absolute low, which was a 3-bedroom lease downtown Toronto. It was closer to like $3,000 a month. And now that goes for like $4,500. It's crazy how high. But it all makes sense because everyone's expenses got so expensive that it's just like you can either rent that or rent nothing because there's going to be no rental.
I mean, to be fair too, I think we hit an artificial low. Like that low was kind of forced down further than it should have been by COVID and the surrounding. Everyone was working from home. People moved out of the city in their what were expensive condos. Now those people moving back are because you move out of your expensive condo from pre-COVID rents and back into post-COVID rents, and that's not great. Did you save enough money over that period of time while you were living at your parents'? I don't know. But I think a lot of people did that, right? They left, saved some money, go live with their parents because they can work from home. And the Airbnb thing, when that whole switch flipped, there was all of a sudden a ton of stock on the market, but didn't take long before that got sucked back up, and now people are back downtown, and companies are shifting hard back into the at the very minimum hybrid work environment, right? Like there has been a hard shift in the past maybe month or two for companies to say, you are coming back downtown. I don't care what your opinion is. You're coming back to the office. And I know a lot of companies too that are like a lot of tech companies that are hiring are not hiring for remote jobs at all anymore. Like even in a position, like any remote positions, it's, are you local? Now, can you make it to the office? Because that collaboration is so important.
Is a lot tougher.
And the power is back in the employer's hands, right? Hey, Cafe Daki.
That's so funny. Yeah, no, you're right. It's now is the time where there have been and there will be continued layoffs. It's just that's what happens when everything becomes this expensive. And some of the first people to go are people that don't work in the office. It's just you're more expendable. So I you know what?
Collaboration's important for companies.
Yeah,
right?
I think being in the office is always better. I mean, to an extent.
You can appreciate a hybrid approach. I think a lot of companies, I don't know that I've heard of anybody that's going, you need to be 5 days a week back in the office yet.
No.
I think a hybrid approach.
You don't need that. You don't really need that. Like maybe job dependent, but a lot of the time.
So you need a couple of days to get out of like the office. Sometimes people are talking and whatever. It can be a lot. It can be hard to focus. You need time to like focus time, put your head down and get work done. But at the same time, you need like collaboration with your peers and stuff. And I think people are realizing that,
It also allows for a lot more. Like, I mean, having a flexible schedule is nice because, when you do have, let's say, a 9 to 5 and you have to be in office every day and you have a 40-minute commute to work, which is probably pretty normal, right? Pretty normal for people.
That's like light for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah, it's light. Let's just say 40 minutes or 30 minutes just to make the math easier. You're waking up at 6 a.m. every day to get ready, to travel, to prepare everything you need and get to work. And you don't really have time. Like you have to be in bed sleeping by 10 or 11. Yeah. So a lot of things kind of get thrown to the side when you're in a 5-day work, like going to your kids' soccer games at a late night.
We have had this conversation a lot lately, like Laura and I at home. We're like, okay, what do we do? We're just like, high level thought. What is the next house move, right? Where do we want to go for the next thing? And like, well, the value for your square footage gets a little bit better the further out you go. But then counterpoint, if you've got to be downtown in the office, I mean, one, for me, that's terrible. If I'm like an hour and a half out of the city and we have like random showings.
No, that's the worst.
It wouldn't work super well. But then same for her. If she's going to work in the core, even if it is hybrid, but let's call it 3 days a week, that's like a 2-hour train ride. Yeah. Like if you're transiting down on the GO train, it's about like a 2-hour trip both ways. So then you're up at 6 and dad's doing daycare drop off and mom doesn't see Ella at all. And then on the way back, it's like you miss bedtime. Like, God forbid you have any evening events or anything like that. Right. And I think a lot of the past couple of years have taught people that, like, what is your time worth? What's family time worth? What's this like 4 hours in transit you're spending per day? What is that worth to you? Will you take a pay cut either you're taking a pay cut to move out there or you're just hiking expenses to stay here, but like that's worth it in a lot of the cases, right?
That's what you have to look at is the difference. It's the whole nanny conversation where a lot of people, is a nanny worth the value? So like if you're both making 100+ K, then maybe a nanny's worth it because
it's the same flip for like stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home dad, like stay-at-home parent.
If you're making
like,
60K,
do you make enough to offset
or under? If you're making under, then maybe you stay home or you find a job that you can make that and stay home and watch your
little
kids.
Freelance here and there.
Yeah, but if you're making 200K, then it's a big. I mean, there's the whole like lifestyle choice as well that some people want to just raise their own kids. Some people don't mind having.
But there's an easy math part of that equation at least that you could just answer.
Yeah. So it's the same here. Is okay. You can move out and take that job that might pay you like in some cases less than half of the big city job or. Let's say 2/3 of the big city job, and your expenses will be 2/3 of the city expenses. But sometimes the city you can get actually double the money or whatever it is, and only 1.5 times expensive. So it's kind of you have to choose a trade off. I'm very biased, and I've had this similar conversation with Michaela as well. It's like, where do we go? Do we go closer to like a Hamilton or like a that's another story. Hamilton's expensive too.
Hamilton's crazy expensive.
Everything is so expensive.
We had this conversation, I think. Yeah. I think Sam and I had this conversation with a couple that we had lunch with last week. That was just like, the same thing. That I don't think Hamilton necessarily makes a ton of sense for where it's at. No. It's gotten so like overblown.
I think it's like the third most overpriced city in Canada. Yeah, like that.
And it's and listen, okay, I respect Hamilton and people that live there and work there and invest there, but at the same time, no. It's not Toronto, and when I can look at a property
for the same
price,
yeah.
maybe $100,000 difference for virtually the same property,
5 to 10% difference in price.
It just doesn't make sense. The income is so dramatically different from an investor's perspective. The tenant pool is so different.
I mean,
your rental
end user perspective,
from an end user,
all the amenities are here. All the jobs are here.
Don't get it.
Yeah, well,
that happened to a lot of the GTA. I don't get Oshawa either necessarily. I don't get how expensive like
Ajax,
Newmarket,
Markham,
Aurora ran up. Like anywhere that's on the GO line coming out of the city has gotten insane.
Yeah,
and it
up to Guelph practically. Waterloo.
Guelph went pretty wild.
Yeah. Waterloo. That whole area is so expensive. So really, you're going an hour and a half away to really see a big saving.
Yeah, and it made a lot of sense during COVID. I think again when you can work remote for Toronto / like US based company income, but I think that's going away. With the whole work from home going away, right? The hybrid approach. Like it's great if you can make Bay Street money while you're at home in Guelph, but
you're not going to.
I don't think that's going to happen.
You don't make that type of money by staying, unless you're like some entrepreneur that made some crazy idea and whatever. Then
sure, but you can do whatever the hell you want then.
Yeah, like, exactly. We're talking about those people. Like even like as realtors, we have to be at our base like every single day within a moment's notice, and. If you're not, then you're not making much money unless you hit that crazy level where you have people doing all the running around and everything else for you. And that's different, right? But then you're already did this part for 20 years. So you can afford that, right? Like it's a little different. But yeah, we've had the same conversation where I'm like, I feel like my job's a little different where even if I did live, let's say an hour away, it's not scheduled. So it's not like,
correct.
It's not like, okay, I have to wake up at 7 every day and I have to, it's, oh crap, I got to be here in an hour.
Yeah.
And
that's a bit extreme. I try not to let those happen anymore.
But think about it
sometimes
this way, right?
It has to happen.
It's the same as a showing, right? You have 24-hour notice for showings if it's tenanted, but if it's vacant, you can go whenever.
Yeah.
So if you're here, you can go whenever, right? Yeah. It's not, I got to plan 2 hours for travel and I had to pick up my kid from school and I can't do this now. This whole evening's a wash. Whereas if you live 15 minutes away, it's like, hey, I'll be there and I'll still make it back for all my other obligations. And you're it just
makes your day planning much easier.
Much easier, more flexible.
I mean, God forbid you have 2 sets of showings to do in the same day and you don't live in town.
Oh,
right? They're done.
That's a full day. Yeah. It's a full day when you're in town. It's just, So I think, the pros of Toronto, you guys shouldn't move out of Toronto. You should stay.
However, on the flip side, I've also been going through this like, okay, what do I want in a house?
Do you want a farm?
No, I don't want a fucking farm.
Okay.
However, riding mowers are pretty fun. It's pretty fun to just rip around on a riding mower.
Are you kidding me?
What?
A riding mower?
Have you never? I mean, of course you've never.
Of course I've never.
It's so much fun.
I've never been in a yard that big before that even needs one.
That one pass, 2 pass done. Let's pull it back into your detached garage.
I mean, you're in Toronto. You don't even have grass.
I have turf in the backyard.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm just thinking of like the stats of the home. I want 4 bedrooms. Oh, that's $2 million right there.
No, it's not. It's just
I want 4 bedrooms in a good school zone. I need a school. Lauren needs a school zone. I want a 2-car garage. Let's find me my house.
Okay.
With the money that I don't have.
I'll tell you right now where it is. Okay, keep going.
Okay.
What's the price? What's your budget?
Unlimited. I don't have the money for it either way.
Okay, no. But let's say if you sold your house and like or whatever.
I think realistically for the stuff that I want, it's probably $2 million.
That's your budget.
No, but I think that's probably what it has to cost.
I'm telling you as your realtor right now. Okay.
I don't.
What have you been? I'm gonna be
your fucking worst client ever. I don't have a budget.
No, that's the
I'm
worst.
not unlimited.
Okay, then don't talk to me until you talk to your mortgage.
I got to talk to my mortgage guy. Get approved.
Ring.
Are you a broker or?
Ring.
Yeah, oh, sorry. Hello. Are we doing this like dry run? This is the worst episode.
Okay, yeah. So let's say it's a 1.5. All right.
No, I think it truly needs to be like $2 million. Let's
say it's 1.5. Okay.
Okay. I'll finish my stuff.
No. Let me finish.
But I haven't told you my criteria yet. Worst fucking realtor ever.
I know you. I know you better than you know you. Okay. I know what you want more than you know what you want.
Okay. Carry on.
Okay.
This is Wonderful.
So you have a few neighborhoods already.
Okay.
Ronces, Parkdale, North High Park, Dover Court.
I'll move to Parkdale.
Dover Court.
Okay.
East York to an extent now. There's some pockets. North York, definitely. A lot of opportunity in
Like
North
rustic?
York. Oh, and north of that.
Even further?
Like
Okay.
Ancaster area, really big lots, really big properties, and they're around 1.3, 1.2.
Get my riding mower.
You can get your riding mower, or east like Scarborough. Those are all locations that could fit everything you just said to me. All
For what budget?
1.5.
No way.
Yeah.
What, Ronsey, 4-bed, 2 cars?
Yeah. Okay. So Ronsey Parkdale is like maybe.
High Park, no.
North High Park is a definite, like, you're in the ball game at 1.5. You are in the ball game at 1.5
Like
for
Junction?
Sure.
I
Junction.
get you're coming into Junction.
Yeah.
You're probably you're North Junction. You're back up here.
No, North Junction for sure. You can find that, but it's just like
on
North
Maria?
North.
Backs onto train track.
Yeah, no. North Junction will be like, maybe it'll be harder to find a 4-bed.
Four bed's the kicker.
But like in
one.
North High Park, yeah, you can find 4 beds like all over the place, and for around that price, yeah, like 1.5. It might need some work. That's the thing, but you can find them, dude. If Evelyn is selling for 1.7,
man, Evelyn's such a good deal.
Like it's prices have come down, and it is possible now. That's what I'm saying. Like,
deal. Okay, so I mean, in reality,
there is a lot of
the
opportunities.
finished quality for whatever we're looking for. I probably don't want to do a ton of work.
Yeah, but you can do a little bit of work, and it'll go a long way.
And we need
the stuff.
I know that. That's what we do. I'm aware.
I'm talking to you as my client.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my bad.
Damn, you are the worst client. I watch HGTV.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those flip it or love it or list it or whatever.
Yeah, okay. So there you go. You have some now, can I find you 10 deals like that right now? No. But there is 1 or 2 that will pop up that you can find, right? Like, and are you going to hit every single box? No, never. You can never reach that unless your budget is truly unlimited. You will never tick off every single box because it's not realistic.
I don't think I have many boxes. I think it's the parking is a big one. Yes. For me, the 2 cars is key, and at least 1 in a garage. That's become something that I've realized.
Yeah,
at least
that would be great. That's
I like that
have a
East York
and
detached with a 1-car garage, and like even the tandem. I wanted a 2-car whatever, but the 1-car garage that's like big enough for some storage in a car, and then the tandem, who cares?
Yeah.
And 4 beds and detached. I think those are honestly, and like not a basement that's like 6 feet tall. Like, it doesn't have to be 8, but like that's it. I don't think it's crazy.
No, I think it's definitely doable.
I
think if you're in the city though, the biggest thing that people have to I think the box that does get unchecked first is the detached. If you're in the semi-detached game,
you get
if you're in downtown
more
Toronto,
for your money.
There's a lot more semi-detached.
You get a lot more for your money in a semi, and you get tons more options in a semi.
Tons more
for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
And I think
location-wise, you can find really good locations
in a good location. The detached qualifier really bumps your price up by like $200,000-300,000 grand in a lot of cases.
Yeah,
it's become a non-starter for us, having lived where we live with whom we live attached to. That I think that's important. For the future.
There's some bad, but
that's a thing that.
And you're in a good location, but you're not in like the most prime location in the city. No. When you go there, you are getting different neighbors.
Yes.
So I think that will change as well. Like if you're in like a Victorian,
I also think we're okay where we're at, like location wise.
Oh yeah.
I think location wise is probably cool, and that's why I'm thinking like, okay, dude, the $2 million mark is like that's where the new builds kind of are for that area, but I don't think it needs to be new.
No.
Anyways, this just sounded very privileged.
Like yes, but I mean, if like it's a conversation that people have, and like again, I have boxes that I'm currently on the market to buy a place for myself. I have boxes that I have checked that there are properties that I'm like, okay, well I'll uncheck 3 of these boxes, but I still get something.
But like especially
for me, location is the most important,
right? And when
I'm
you
in
can
the location,
like
I'll
math it to like, oh my god, the numbers are crazy here, because especially when you're looking for more of like a house hack type of thing, when you can look at this and be like, these numbers are absurd, but it doesn't tick off a couple of like my lower end boxes. That's a value trade, right?
Yeah. Even higher end ones. Like at the end of the day, it's different when it's like, okay, your next home's probably like your forever home, or like forever I think until retirement.
My thought is like, it's this next one, because like 2 kids, home office kind of thing. Like this kind of space. No, not right now. But like
maybe
chill. Okay.
Okay.
But then like this is me just being a real estate nerd, but I think the next one after that is probably where I die, and I probably want to build it.
Really?
Yeah. I like drawings and architecture and building shit, and like
you're gonna be like retired and bored and
yeah, exactly. But like literally not like that's the house I'll like live in forever at that point. Like I will go out in that house whenever that may or may not be. So this next one is very, very important to tick the boxes.
This is the one that the family's raised in. And
yeah, exactly.
Everything happens. Interesting. Definitely don't move out of the city. I think that's the worst decision you'll ever make.
Going to Keswick, baby.
Okay, well here's the thing too, like it's all about lifestyle change as well. Like so you grew up out of the city, so it won't be as much of a culture shock, I don't think. It will be to go back or back somewhere out. Like it will be because it's different than when you were there. It's way different.
Yes.
Right. So you're gonna go back and be like, oh, this isn't what I remember, like to an extent. It's a lot busier and there's more people but
it's still so much slower.
Yeah,
and
so
I
much
think
slower.
We've adapted to like a pace of life and a pace of like getting things done. Even when we do like deals here in the city, and then let's say we go help people. Like I've done deals all in every direction outside of the city as well. Call it an hour or two in each direction. Mm-hmm. And when you go to like a small town and do like and work on a deal for somebody that's in a small town, things move at such a stressfully slow pace
for us. Yeah,
we're like, okay, we need answers. Things need to happen. Like stuff.
Here's your 6 hour irrevocable. Like, give me an answer. Though.
Yeah, and they're like,
we need 48 hours.
I don't work after 5. Like, what? Oh my God, Brenda! Like, just get back to me. It's so frustrating. But that's life, and I think Lauren's been seeing a little bit of this too, depending on like the companies, just looking for like different companies to work for and things. And like, it's the same thing in like tech versus banking and government. Shit moves so fucking slow. They're like, here's the project that we're working on and it's taken us 6 months to do this. And she's like, we have like a 6-day turnaround for this? Like, what do you mean? They're like, it's been 4 months and we haven't gotten approval for this software. I need someone's credit card information or whatever. And they're like, this is a $20 subscription. Let's fucking go. But that, I mean, it's the same. Like I equate that to kind of like the same thing. We're now accustomed to such a different pace of life that, and you know what? I mean, to your Euro story from last week, it's kind of nice sometimes to chill. But like, I don't know. That's vacation mode.
Well, even like Euro mode, like, so where you live too, it's actually like somewhat walkable as well. Like pretty walkable. You can walk to parks. You can walk to like, restaurants or anything like that. It might be a little bit of a longer walk, but it's still doable. And you're still there. And if you need to drive, it's a quick drive to anything you really need. And
we found it as it's a very nice combo. Yeah. Little like suburban, but not close to the city. So like for me personally, I grew up in a neighborhood like that. That's like a suburban city neighborhood. Right. Yeah. Not like a Scarborough or Etobicoke suburban or North York suburban, but suburban for like city center York. Yeah. Toronto/York, which is like Toronto, York, East York homes are like more of the actual, like when you say the city, you probably think of those areas like York, East York, Toronto, and like that's it really. You don't really think of the other the other boroughs as much. You really think of Toronto, the downtown core, but like even York, like, or you're closer to Eglinton. That's like still very hustle bustle. Yep. And East York to an extent is like a little bit busier. Not really like Eglinton and Yonge, but like a little bit busier. I grew up in that setting, and I want to move even more downtown because I'm very comfortable with that. Anything slower, I lived in now North York for a few years, and it was a very different pace where I was like, I can't even walk. Like I can't walk to anything. Right. Which for me growing up somewhere where I can, and not that I always did, but that I could. Yeah. Like, hey, I want to go here, or even what's great, I walked to work today. Yeah. It's like unreal. It's like really nice feeling to walk to work and also not have to wake up 40 minutes or like no one controls. You're not waiting for a bus. You're not waiting for shitty traffic. There's nothing. And you get your nice out. You get fresh air. Yeah, it's like really nice. Yeah. So like that's that middle ground that you were into. Sorry to cut you off. Full burp mode. That middle ground you were in. There's like it's still just as trafficy as the city because you're at an interesting spot for that. Yeah. And it's got the suburban problem of there's nowhere to walk. Yeah. So like you're stuck. You're stuck. The traffic wasn't too bad where I was. So like that I'm lucky for. Like it was actually a nice place to live. I enjoyed it. Yeah. But coming from the city life
and, you know, wanting to not rely on a car, that's important for me, right? And that's why the suburbs for me is a little bit out of the picture, because
you need a car.
I don't want to live somewhere that I need a car.
Yeah.
I want to live somewhere where if I want to go outside, I can. And if I want to go somewhere actually relevant, not just for a walk, I can.
You could take your riding mower, take your John Deere.
Oh my God. Or even bicycles. Like, anyways, there's a bunch of things that I like for the city, but, you know, like you said, it's super, super expensive. So, but now, so are like the suburbs though. Like, you're not, if you're getting your 4-bedroom anywhere in Toronto that's an hour away, you're paying like just the same price for that 4-bedroom.
Similar. You get more space.
And
I had this conversation with someone recently too, is you get more space, but more space is more maintenance. What do you do with that space? Mm-hmm. It needs more cleaning. It's like,
you also,
unless you're actually using all of the space, it's kind of also a burden. And I don't know. It's an interesting thought experiment.
Like, even the lot sizes, like, okay, let's say they're wider. They're not that much longer.
I grew up despising cutting lawns because my parents have a huge lawn, and as the firstborn, that's your job, obviously, right? That's why you're born, is to grow up and learn how to take care of the house. It's a big fucking lawn, and you know what? I don't want to have to cut it.
Yeah, and half your lawn is taken up,
unless you have a riding
mower.
Half
your front lawn is taken up by parking because you need it. You need like 3 cars.
Yeah, my parents have like a 6-car parking, I think.
17, you have kids that age, you need 3 cars all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot. Just the 3 cars alone, the money that you would save from moving into the city and only needing 1 car, maybe 2 cars, is like that extra car is an easy, like, let's call it $50K to be conservative, plus all the insurance fees every year.
Okay, like your kid's not getting a $50,000
No,
car.
but you are. So your kid's getting the one that you already bought like years ago.
Yeah, that's true.
Still, and you have to insure it, which is going to be more insurance. Like, it's going to be like, no, it's not a hand-me-down. Please. What? You can't give that to Ella.
Why not? You don't think she's going to know how to drive?
I guess.
We just watched the, 15th Fast and Furious or whatever last night.
Oh, nice.
Like,
was it good?
The kid can drive. One of the kids, anyways. Yeah. It's, it's the 15th Fast and Furious. It's what you expect it's going to be. And for that, it's fucking spectacular. And I think there's more. I think they're doing it in 3 parts or something.
Oh my God.
Yeah. They're doing it like the final Harry Potter.
Attack on Titan.
Or the,
I don't even know what's going on in that. All right.
Anyways.
This is what we were actually going to talk about today.
No, we'll talk about it next time.
No.
We're 30 minutes in.
Oh. I guess.
We'll talk about it next time. It's okay. There's a full episode here.
Yeah, we had some notes down, but I guess we didn't really talk about.
We'll save them. It's all right. Well, we just told people how to buy or where to buy a way too expensive house.
Yeah, I guess.
For 20.
Talking about expensive houses. I just sold one. That was nice.
Yeah, this was a 28-minute tangent on my question of how your week was.
Yes.
Which was supposed to lead into your big sale.
Yeah, no, it was a nice
Tell me about your big sale.
Yeah, so out of the 3 listings I have right now, that one went in one day. And it was just a really good process. I mean, the sellers were awesome and they had everything totally ready. The house looked great. The biggest thing that sold the property, I'm not going to sit here being like, I'm the best, or, it's the location of it was just super prime, right? Like, it's in Seton Village. If you look it up on MLS, it says Annex because that's the overall, location of it. It's technically Seton Village, but it's in that Annex area of the city, which is one of the most prime, if not the most prime. If you ask me, that area is the place to be. I just had a conversation with Kate, one of our leasing managers here, and wow, Annex is probably the place in the world that I would choose to live. The one place, if you were saying like, where's the number one place you want to live? It's probably the Annex.
Fascinating.
And
I've had some great times. Lauren used to live in the Annex for a while. Had some very fun times in the Annex. It's a great, it is like of Toronto neighborhoods that are, not like Bridle Path or anything like that, but even like Bridle of Path, Toronto neighborhoods, in the same category. Annex is very high.
The reason I prefer that over a Bridle Path is because
it's accessibility. You get stuff. You get to everything in 2 seconds.
Yorkville, you're on Bloor, is right there.
Yeah.
Yorkville, the streetcars, the subway system's right there. You have some of the best restaurants in the city, in Canada, in North America, within walking distance.
Every Michelin star restaurant is in the city
is right beside there. Yeah. So everything is great. You're close to parks. You have that city feel. You're walking the streets and you feel like you're part of history. It's you go to
these
beautiful
Bloor and
lots.
Spadina or ish at like any hour of the night. I mean,
Or day.
it's dark, but like at night it's like nice. It's dark and then boom and all the lights and people and there's fucking
things happening everywhere. Yeah. And then you go a little bit more east and you're at like the ROM area and it's beautiful. So I maybe I'm biased. I grew up in sort of Seton Village. Like that's where I went to school. Like my elementary school was there. My grandparents were there. So I spent a lot of time in my very younger days there. A lot of my good friends growing up lived in that area. Spent a lot of time at Christie Pitts. Like a lot of history there for me. So that definitely plays a role. But I think if you're looking for everything, the only neighborhood that there's two neighborhoods that sort of come close. It would be like the Trinity Bellwood area, maybe like a Little Italy area, or Ronces. But even those areas, or High Park, I would say call it High Park because High Park is the annex version of Ronces. Ronces like Seton Village, Ronces like almost as nice as High Park proper. High Park's where all those big homes are, bigger lots and everything. But even those are not as walkable. You're kind of in the corner of the city.
Yeah, it's not.
Maybe Trinity. Trinity's the one that you can argue is maybe like you can walk around and get to really cool places. But those homes, Trinity Bellwood's homes, are not annex homes. Annex homes we're talking about giant,
So some. I don't think many at all in Trinity are even close to like the scale and like there's certain pockets of very historic buildings in the annex and surrounding areas that are absolute fucking gargantuan, like huge
turn
homes.
into frat houses, but
legit. Like Madison is like just Madison. Rows of frat houses, and one is big enough to have turned into a multi-level bar. Yeah, like crazy.
Actually, I think it's like two homes side by side now.
That makes sense.
I don't know.
That tracks. It's good old times. Great area.
It's a great location. So that deal, that's the big selling feature.
That really speaks to where the market is at currently as well. That while everything else is still fairly slow around, and it speaks to like the stability of really high quality properties in Toronto specifically, that it's an extremely finite resource, and people will always, regardless of market, struggle to get their foot into a specific neighborhood. And if you have a high quality property in a high quality neighborhood, you're likely pretty good regardless of the state of things.
Yeah. So everything went well. We sold within one day. We had two offers that sort of battled it out, and we got what we were looking for. And my sellers are very happy, and that's like really all that matters is that, everybody's happy during the process. The buyers are very happy. The sellers are very happy. Everything, we got the closing date we wanted. Everything, the flexibility we wanted. Everything just worked out very, very well. And sometimes you got to be grateful for. I guess the lead up to it is the work that gets put into that house. So there were open permits actually in the garage. So they built a garage. What was it, like 7-8 years ago? And or maybe a little bit longer, just around that time period. And they built a mezzanine in the garage. So the upper level has this like storage area. And what happened is they never closed those permits. The builder never closed those permits. Something so small. Yeah. It was like such a small. We're talking open permits, but like literally
that'll show up in the title search, right?
So we didn't want to list the property because we said, okay, if something's going to get flagged, it's going to be this, and then this is going to kill a almost $2 million deal because this isn't prepared. So we went through that whole process, which took way longer than it should have. Finally closed that done. Did some work to the property in the meantime, just patching some things up here and there that, it's a family that's owned it for 70 years, something like that, right? Like there's things that are going to need to be touched up here and there. And so once everything was closed, the permit was closed, the mezzanine, all that was added was like literally like a couple of screws. Like we waited like months, and it was like, here, actually just screw this piece of wood right here. No difference. It was so silly. But anyways, that was all done. And so when we listed, everything was so ready to go. Right. And so in the market, to get in there is really tough. Like that's it. It's really tough. So it just hit like a perfect storm, and it went really well. So yeah, it was a good week. Other than that, last week, super busy. That's it. Good. I ran a 10K too.
Oh, it's quite the week.
Yeah, it was a really busy week. I also moved out of my old place. Like a lot happened last week.
That's a very busy week.
Yeah, 10K was great too. You should run one with me.
Next year. I think I might actually do it next year.
Let's start cycling. Like now's a good time.
I need to get a bike
first.
first.
Takes like an hour.
I know.
It doesn't take that much.
It's not a good excuse.
You had a good
had a good August.
Good August. Yeah, you can get a bicycle, I think. They're like $500
good for my fitness. Oh, apparently not in some groups.
Well, no, the ones that like you might want are like 2,000.
Our neighbor bikes with some other gentleman that
10,000.
Yeah, those are legit.
Oh
boy.
Yeah,
I didn't understand that bikes had that kind of.
There's a nice.
Yeah, and they change them every year.
Yeah,
they're like, what's the new tech?
Yeah.
Did you know you could get shifters that are like paddle shifters and it's just electric?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It's a bicycle.
Oh yeah. Technology's. You're gonna love it.
I'm fucked. This is why I'm holding off because
you're gonna love it.
I didn't understand.
Yeah, they have like hydraulic brakes.
No, it's not good.
You just need to tap the brake and it works.
Yeah.
So like you don't have to kind of.
Yeah. No, I get it. You know, it's easier than modifying a car, modifying a bicycle in your basement.
Exactly.
I'm in
and there's so much
trouble.
tech. There's so much tech to it, so you can track how many watts you're pushing in, and yeah, and it's actually healthy. That's a good one to listen to.
That's fair.
Healthy instead of
you get hit
skipping.
by a car. Hey, skipping is also healthy.
It's
great for your heart.
All right. La, da, 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 da.
Fuck off.